All right, so we have a video here. This is Nerdrotic Daily, and it looks like it's Nerdrotic and Chris Gore. Yay! And this is titled, Trigger Warning, Rachel Zegler Energy. Drama erupts over Millie Alcock's Supergirl comments. Okay. All right. This is over Chris Gore's tweet where he said Rachel Zegler Energy and got dragged. Absolutely and utterly dragged. Matter of fact, before we watch the video, I have something bookmarked here from Angry Joe. All right, Angry Joe responded to Chris Gore's tweet and says, sigh, actress responds reasonably. Chris Gore and his buddies have a disingenuous fit, which is absolutely perfect way to frame it. Rachel shat on the source material. We'll talk about Rachel Zegler and Snow White. I disagree on that. I don't think that she shat on it, but you could make a stronger argument, I think, with Rachel than you can with what Millie's doing. Millie says all she can do is the best she can. Fuck her, right? Did y'all even read it? She didn't even insult you weirdos, and y'all still knee-jerk. You and Nerdrotic would never be happy unless all females shut up about it. Shit they deal with sometimes completely. Why it triggers y'all so, I have no fucking idea. Well, because they don't like women who are empowered. They like subservient women that just shut the fuck up. That's what they like. It's real little dick energy. Y'all already here proving her right. Desperate for the next Brie Larson video generator. That is a bold burn there. By the way, Nerdrotic, Michael Keaton, who you mentioned, did the same. He dealt with and commented about his body too. Audience's expectations of his body not being muscular enough. We talked about that earlier. Yes, men do get, the only real criticism they ever get is whether or not they are muscular enough to play certain roles. That's typically the only kind of criticism they get. But they still get it. It's valid. Hate mail he dealt with, etc. But you know he's a dude, so y'all didn't knee-jerk and warn him to shut the fuck up. Plus, the internet wasn't a culture war shitfest back then. Well, they didn't do it because it wasn't about gooner stuff. It wasn't about gooner bait women on screen. This character and comic is literally everything y'all asked for. The opposite of a Mary Sue, someone who actually earns it, and here you are, ready to treat it all the same. It's fucking boring, guys. I get it's what your audience expects, but have some integrity and surprise us for once. Not always a big Angry Joe fan, but that was a sick burn. Sick burn, bro. And now we're going to watch the video with Nerdrotic and Chris Gore, where they're going to be talking about this tweet. Let's see what they have to say with this Rachel Zegler energy.
Look at
Very controversial statement.
Oh, no. All I said was Rachel Zegler energy. That's it.
And you're a 60-year-old man. That's a little weird. Weird.
3 words. Yeah, some people really got triggered by what I said. I just think.
But you were so triggered. You're the one that posted it. You were triggered by what Millie said. That's how this game plays, the trigger game. I rarely ever say somebody gets triggered because I feel like it's a very stupid argument. But if they were triggered by what you said, then you were triggered by what Millie said. It's a fun game. It's a real fun game of hot potato.
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, I just think maybe don't go down that road of making comments that'll turn off the audience or your potential paying customers.
Well, I mean, yeah, go after me. All you want.
Well, I mean, you could make that same energy with you, like that same Rachel Zegler energy. You could say Chris Gore energy, because you don't seem to care if you piss off your audience, right? You say stuff like this, and you don't care if it pisses off your audience, because if anybody responds negatively, you're just going to say they're triggered. Oh, they're triggered, totally triggered. So you're not even taking your own advice.
What Variety decided to point out is Supergirl star Millie Alcock knows she'll face backlash by simply existing as a woman in a franchise IP. And a quote, we have become...
And you said Rachel Zegler energy, which then confirms that you are doing it because she's a woman, because you're literally comparing her to an unrelated woman that also talked about her film very boldly, and you're saying these two are the same because they have a vagina. They're the same. Snow White, Supergirl, 2 different statements, 2 different women, 2 different topics, but they're the same because they both have a vagina and boobs.
Very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself.
What do you mean ownership
That's
of
such a-
women's bodies? It's,
Objectification is a form of ownership. I can't believe that I have to tell men my age and older what she means by that statement. Why do I have to explain what objectification is? Are we really at a point where men don't even understand what she means when she talks about weird ownership of a woman's body? Do they not? I mean, is this really where we are? I feel like we're in La La Land or something. Like, what the fuck? She's talking about being objectified and having people talk about her body in a way like it's a commodity. It's something that can be bought and sold. That is what they're talking about. It's objectification. Holy shit.
so it's weird.
Yeah, nobody's approaching this movie like that at all, right?
She wasn't talking about this movie
and-
specifically. Holy shit. I'm going to lose my mind with these guys. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. They're not talking about the movie specifically. She is talking about in general based on her experience on House of the Dragon.
Variety is doing what Variety does, right? They're there to gaslight. But when the press comes out and actors come out and do this stuff prior to a movie, it's the biggest fucking red flag of them all.
Yeah.
Where you're
The biggest red flag. Not that the movie's going to be bad, that things don't look good for the movie, but when an actor speaks up about their position and their body, that's a red flag.
already taking a swing at your audience, and
She's not attacking
we'll
the
get
audience.
into to people saying we took it personal. Like, I took it personally. It's like, no, it's simply an observation based on
Nothing.
pattern recognition.
Right, which is her observation on pattern recognition with men became an attack on all men, according to you. But your observation of her and her pattern recognition as a woman is not an attack on all women, according to the rest of the audience. So which one is it?
Chris, pattern recognition. We have seen this before. We just saw it 4 days ago with Black Snape and Papa Escudo saying he got death threats. The reason
That's not the same thing. Him receiving death threats for being black is not even remotely the same as her saying that women get objectified in a different way than men do in media. It's not the same thing. Those are two completely different things. I don't know how you correlate those things together, how you square that circle, but it's not the same thing.
they decided to go public with that, because most of the time they don't, Chris. Why don't they go public with death threats? Because it invites more of them. It brings attention, but they strategically bring it up when it is a marketing tool.
So in other words, he doesn't want them to talk about death threats or any sort of wrongdoing, because then it might have it happen even more. So they should probably just shut the fuck up and accept the death threats and accept the objectification without saying anything.
And it's to get out in front of a controversial decision that they know is a bad decision, so they can frame it as the fans' fault, so they could deflect any responsibility. And a lot of times,
I love how you guys are trying to predict the future. I love how you're doing that. So do you think that she's going to come back and go, hey, the comments that I made about House of the Dragon are literally the reason why my movie succeeded, failed, did okay? So you think they're just laying out this as an excuse for later on? That's the reason why?
they even
Seems a
throw
little
the
narrow.
dumb actor who goes along with this under the bus. You know, do you think Brie Larson feels a little burned
There we
by
go.
the fans or Marvel?
Probably at this point, Marvel, if you see the way she's acted on the tour.
Probably, maybe, possibly, speculatory-ish, possibly-ish, aka we don't know. But we're going to talk about it anyway.
The press tour for Mario Galaxy. She's a changed woman.
She certainly felt burned by the fans in the beginning, but as time went on and they saw that Marvel didn't really back her play very much, reduced her in Endgame.
I do want to point out all of this talk of her being different in the marketing for Super Mario Galaxy is a continuation of that weird objectification that Millie Alcock is talking about here, right? They're looking at her and going, she's being more sexy and more carefree and more womanly. Those are weird objectifications. They're weird. It is a weird thing to do when we're talking about a woman promoting like a kid's movie. It's really fucking weird.
Filled her sequel full of other people where she lost top billing on her own sequel, and now she's not even in Doomsday at all. Don't know if she'll be in Secret Wars. And when she gave that interview, and Mark Malkin, yeah, he's like, "Are you going to do another Captain Marvel?" He's like, and she goes, "Do they want me to?" I don't know. I think that was a real response. Yeah. And I don't think that was directed at fans. I think that was directed at Marvel.
Okay.
And she has learned to shut the hell up, go out there.
So the article, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Literally, there was an article last night that I read on the Nerdcast. Shout out to the Nerdcast. If you didn't go watch it, go watch it. I read an article where they claimed that all these guys want is for women to go out and shut the fuck up. That was the title of the article. And here he is saying the thing. If you're a woman, when you go out to promote stuff, just shut the fuck up. Let me run this back. He's saying that Brie Larson learned to shut the fuck up.
Real response. Yeah. And I don't think that was directed at fans. I think that was directed at Marvel. And she has learned to shut the hell up, go out there, be grateful, and now like she's on a redemption.
So shut the fuck up, shut the hell up, and be grateful. That's all. When you're a woman in media, that's all you have to do. That's it. Look sexy, shut the fuck up, shut the hell up, and go out there and smile. Be grateful. That's it. That's all they want from you.
An arc. I think pretty much people are like, yeah, Brie's cool. You know, and then, you know, comparatively, if we look at Rachel Zegler compared to her, or Pedro Pascal, or Simu Liu, like.
By the way, I want to point out that this is their. You know how earlier when he talked about these articles coming out to sort of prepare for like what happens with the film, he's basically saying they're setting up this backup plan for if the movie doesn't fail, they'll look back at this and go, this is why, because of, you know, this whole issue. I think they know that Super Mario Galaxy is going to be a big hit. I think they know it's going to be a $1 billion movie. They know it's going to go on to probably greenlight a third Super Mario movie. They cannot blame the failure of that movie on Brie Larson. You see what I'm getting at here? Brie Larson is not detrimental to the success of that movie because they know the movie is going to do well. They know it is. It had an incredible opening night. So since they can't glaze that movie with Brie Larson outrage, all of a sudden it's like people like Brie Larson. She's a changed woman. They're doing that because they know that there's nothing they can do to stop the movie from being successful. So they have to pretend that now everybody likes Brie Larson.
What she did was nothing compared to those three idiots. Supergirl star Millie Alcock says, I really can't stop Backlash and understands why Scorsese and Ridley Scott criticize superhero movies. Not every film is for everyone. So Millie Alcock, told Vanity Fair in a new interview that she's aware that she's going to face backlash over Warner Brothers Supergirl simply because she's a female superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would be more, so I've said this before, I would be more forgiving to these guys if they just admitted that sometimes the women they're talking about are right. Just once in a while. She's going to face some backlash for playing a female superhero regardless of anything else because of it being a female superhero. We know that's going to happen. It's just reality. It's just a reality. If they would just admit that that does happen sometimes, but they still have a problem with what she's saying because of another reason, I would be much more open to going, maybe they're saying something a bit more profound. Maybe they're bringing something more to the table. But when you're just, brushing off that women in superhero roles don't get some level of scrutiny for just existing, if you're pretending that's not the case, then I know you're not a serious person. I know you're not a serious person.
You're not going to face backlash simply because you're a female superhero.
Yes, you will.
All right? Listen, there's always going to be stuff 100%. Online. That's part of being famous.
Okay. Here we go. Let me run this back. He says you're not going to, and then he goes, but. Anytime they say but, all they're doing is dismissing what they said before. That's it. He says she's not going to face any backlash for being a female superhero, but you're always going to have stuff happening on the internet, meaning that she is going to face backlash for being a female superhero. He just doesn't want to admit it. And this is why it would be so much easier for them if they just admitted that what she's saying is true. It is real. Let's run this back. Listen here.
Okay. You're not going to face backlash simply because you're a female superhero. All right. Listen, there's always going to be stuff online. That's part of being famous.
Oh,
Chris, you're going to get shit. She's called ugly. I don't think she's ugly at all. I think she's actually pretty well cast for the role. And I think that's what most people have been saying.
Okay. So in other words, you are agreeing with her, but you can't fully commit to it because you know that your audience will reject that. So you're doing this, the clown show is for the audience here. Because you won't actually stand up and have a backbone and say, she's right. She is going to face some sort of scrutiny for being a woman superhero. She is going to face that level of scrutiny. You can't admit it because you know that your audience would not accept that. So here you are kind of playing both sides of the fence. You got one foot in the side of she's a liar, she's being hyperbolic, she's a feminist, etc., 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 and the other foot in the I think she's well cast in the movie and she's attractive and blah blah blah. You can't actually pick a side. You're too busy trying to play this game where you don't want to piss off your audience, but you're also like, yeah, maybe what she's saying is a little bit true. Maybe there is some truth to it.
Right. The world isn't X. I think most people are like, she's fine. Criticisms of this film have nothing to do with her being female. It's actually mostly with the males involved in this movie. The 25-year-old actor is no stranger to dealing with intense fandoms, having broke out as Rhaenyra Targaryen in the first season of HBO's Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, where nobody complained about her at all. Zero.
Wait. No one complained about her? Oh, look at this. Look. Man, it sure looks like he really liked the show. And he didn't have an issue with anything going on the show. Is that a tear coming down her face? Is that a tear coming out of her eye? That's kind of crazy. No one was attacking her in House of the Dragon, but you've got a multitude of videos where I'm pretty sure you weren't being very kind about the show House of the Dragon or the people involved in it. But we're going to pretend none of that ever happened. Let's continue.
Be aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. Show me where people commented on that with House of the Dragon.
So now you're saying that it didn't happen. So you're just pretending. You're pretending that nobody ever commented on that. Yellow Flash literally made a video, and I reacted to it earlier this week if you didn't see it, where he was in fact talking about how people were judging her and the older version of her based on which one was more attractive. Yellow Flash literally said that. I just reacted to it this week.
Dragon. We have become very comfortable with having this weird ownership over women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. Now, Little Platoon, his response was really good. It's like,
was it? Usually if you're saying that their response is really good, it means there's just more brain rot. So let's see what Lil Platoon had to say.
Like some invasion of the body snatchers type thing.
No, it's not. Objectification is a form of ownership. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I've debunked this in almost every video where people seem to misunderstand magically. Oh shit, what does she mean by ownership of people's bodies? I don't know what that means. I'm so completely oblivious to language and higher education and media literacy and all of these things. I don't know what she means when she's saying objectification in a way without just literally saying objectification. I don't get it. I couldn't look on the internet and go, is objectification a form of ownership in Google? Yes. Objectification is a form of ownership. Wow. That's crazy. But let's just pretend as adult men that we don't know what that means.
Young women go to Hollywood, seemingly normal. even quite talented. And then they come out saying not only the same asinine things, but in exactly the same asinine way.
Right. So women, these young women, go into Hollywood not feeling like men shit all over them. And then they get in Hollywood and all of a sudden they're like, fuck, men are shitting all over me. I'm being treated like a piece of meat. What's going on? What's happening? It's almost like if all of them are coming out saying that they're dealing with the same thing and they started in the same place, maybe the issue is the industry and all of the stigma around the industry and the fandom around the industry. Maybe that's the determining factor. Maybe that's actually the problem. Wow, mind blown. They get into the industry and all of a sudden they're treated differently and they all have similar experiences. It's almost like Weinstein all over again. It's almost like we had a whole issue with that back during that era when Weinstein was caught doing all kinds of awful shit to women. It's almost like we've known about it for a while. Crazy.
Nobody who has not been body swapped by a pod uses phrases like ownership of women's bodies.
She said it to drive the point home. And she proved it because of the way you guys are triggered by it. The way you're reacting to it, the way it triggered you so hard right now proves exactly what she was saying. That when you actually talk about what objectification means, which is ownership of bodies, what it means when she actually says it in that way and says it in a way that we can't just brush away objectification. She said it in a very plain way. You lose your fucking minds.
Nobody. It's pod speak. You can always tell pod speak because the words are the same and the speaker is totally interchangeable. They do not think, they recite.
Oh, just say it's too smart for you. Just say it's too intelligent for you. That's it. All you got to do is say she said big things that I don't understand and it hurt my feelings. It's really, really that simple.